Hello, this is Stephen Whitfield, Drilling Contractor, here at the 2022 IADC World Drilling Conference in Paris, France. With me right now is Mark Carrier, Principal Engineer at Real-Time Innovations and a member of the Drilling and Wells Interoperability Standards Group, otherwise known as DWHiz. Mr. Carrier gave a presentation here at the conference about DWHiz, and we're going to talk a little bit about where it's going, what it's done, and what it is. So, Mark, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, Stephen, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me.
Well, I guess we'll start with the first question. What is DWHiz? Can you explain what it is? What kind of strategic value does it provide to the industry?
Yeah, so DWHiz, as you said, is the Drilling and Wells Interoperability Standards Group. Our focus is how can we create a standard that allows third parties like service companies and operators to standardize their interaction with rig control systems or advanced drilling control systems. You can do this today. There's a lot of great software out there that's bringing a lot of automation. The challenge that a lot of end users see is that it's very costly to integrate. So as they go from drilling contractor to drilling contractor, it's a lot of engineering overhead to be able to integrate their technologies, and they're looking for standardized ways of doing that and reducing the cost and bringing value to the overall process of well construction.
Now, the group has been active for a little bit here. You kind of talked a little bit about what the group has done so far. Can you tell our audience what has been done so far with DWHiz, and what are you guys looking to accomplish in the near future?
Yeah, so we've been working for about 2 years right now. Like I talked about today, the first thing we worked on was standardizing a lexicon, developing a common language, because we do have so many different representatives from so many different domains. We found that the beginning progress was slow because the terminology we were using was a bit confusing. So we developed a standardized language to allow us to exchange and share information. On that, the major efforts that we've been working on is a standardized software interface that essentially just describes the data that we want to send to the rig and the data that we would like to get back and the behavior around that. We've been looking at, another group is focusing on how we can have multiple advisors or what we call applications, giving their input to the rig and how you collaborate all that different input, looking at different interests from the different parties. Yeah, and the third group is working on something called fault detection, isolation, and recovery. It is a risk mitigation strategy that allows applications or advisors to understand what problems are happening during the process. There's enough contextual information to allow those advisors to then decide what the proper risk mitigation strategy is. So the three groups have presented strategies that we believe are valuable to the industry. We are now working on updating our website and looking for the best way to deliver this material so that end users can then download the content that's available and hopefully adopt their digital transformation roadmaps to include the DWHiz standards.
So get back to the standardization of the interface and the standardization of the lexicon here. When you talk to drilling contractors, you talk to operators, you talk to service providers in this industry, and you talk about standardization of data, standardization of interfaces for these systems. It's always the big challenge, isn't it? It's always the thing that everybody wants. So what would you say are some of the challenges in sort of creating a standardized lexicon? What kind of value do you think that a standardized lexicon and a standardized interface can provide for this industry?
Well, I think the value is really on the business side. It's about reducing cost. It's about reducing time to market. It really enables a plug-and-play system so that drilling contractors can work in a plug-and-play fashion with the service companies, their vendors, ultimately reducing their cost, allowing them to provide a greater service to the operators that they're working with.
So in your presentation, you kind of were calling for drilling contractors to get involved in DWHiz, saying it's not too late. And so let's talk about how they can get involved. What kind of insight can drilling contractors provide for DWHiz, and how can they find out more?
Yeah, so the drilling contractors, I think, are probably the most important part of this whole process. We need them to actually implement these standards to enable the value for the rest of the value chain. If they don't get involved and they don't adopt the standards or help develop it, maybe adopt is the wrong word. If they don't help develop this standard and help drive it across the value chain, then we don't have a lot of adoption, and then it doesn't really help in the overall value of what DWHiz is trying to bring to the industry.
And how can drilling contractors get involved in DWHiz?
Yeah, so they can reach out to Daryl Fett at Total Industries. We have a website, d-wiz.org. They can reach out there and find out the information that they need, especially on the contact side. I would say get in touch with Daryl, and he can bring you in and make it all happen.
Well, great to hear about this. Great to hear about where DWHiz is going right now. It seems like it's going to be a very valuable system for the industry. And thanks again, Mark, for telling us more about what's been going on.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much.
And thank you for visiting Drilling Contractor.